Hello everyone. This hour on Verbling, the next in my Hot Topic series. We're doing a new hot topic this Friday. 3D printing. Printing now, wow, coming soon. Will 3D printing change the world? For all the hype over three-dimensional printing, it's unclear exactly how and when it will have an impact on our daily lives. We will learn key vocabulary in the first hour through listening and debate this topic in the second part by reading what experts think and then giving our own opinions. Well, that's a little bit about my class. What about me? Let me tell you about myself. I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. By the way, here are 3 quick rules to help you participate. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up. Which means, please turn off your microphone when you're not speaking so we can keep the classroom quiet. Tune in to the new vocabulary words that you're learning when we are speaking so that I can correct you and give you feedback. Finally, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. So, with that in mind, I'm going to open our topic. When you open the class material, you will see this graphic so that you know you're in the right place. And if you hang on a second, I'll give you the links to those in the chat window in case you don't have them. So, material. Okay. There you go in the class chat. And let me give you this in the group chat as well. All right. So, let me go down here. 3D printing now, wow, coming soon. We're going to talk about a new technological change that's been hyped in the past. But the reality is, although it's starting to happen, it hasn't really had the effect that people have said it would have. So we're going to do, getting some noise there. Hello, Alvaro, how are you?
Hi, John. How are you doing?
Very good. Your connection is very, very noisy. Is everything hooked up right? Or is it just, because I'm hearing lots and lots and lots of static right now.
It shouldn't, but the point is that I don't have any mix.
You don't have what? I'm sorry?
Any microphone. So I'm just talking to the laptop, but I don't have any sound entry. So I'm not sure.
All right. Well, yeah, it's great. If you can wear headphones, it helps a lot. But if you don't have them, you don't have them. Well, if we get lots of people in the classroom, I'll ask you just to turn off the microphone when you're not speaking.
Sure.
Okay? All right?
Yeah, sure. In fact, I tried. I went to buy one headphones with microphone. But the point is that when I got to connect it to the computer, I realized that I didn't have any entry for the microphone. So,
you don't. What happened when you connected it? You didn't.
I don't have the entry. I mean, I just have a entry point for listening, but not for speaking.
You have a laptop, right?
Yeah, I have a laptop, and so when I try to connect the headphones,
yeah,
I just have one plugin.
How is that possible? What kind of laptop do you have?
I don't know. It was a cheap one. I'm not sure really.
Wow.
It's what I thought, because I was sure that I could connect both.
Maybe you have a net. What do you call it? A netbook instead of a laptop, because all laptops have. Well, I've never seen one that doesn't have an input for a microphone.
Never have I. So
all right.
So I just will switch off my microphone when other people is talking.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, so if everyone's got the document open that I put in the chat window, you'll see that first of all, we've got lots of things to do here. Our class is there in the table of contents, so if you ever get lost, just click on one of those links. We're going to start with a little warm-up. A warm-up means we're going to get your brain moving and thinking about the topic. So let's start here. For the last, by the way, I forgot to say hello. Hello, Araceli. It's not Celli, it's Araceli. Hello, Araceli.
Hello, how are you?
Very good. Hello, Yuki. How are you?
Hi. Not grumble. Thank you.
Not what?
Not grumble. Thank you.
Not
grumble.
Gramble? What's that? I didn't understand.
Not too bad.
Oh, okay. I didn't understand the word. For the last half decade, this is a little introduction. By the way, I've taken this directly from the New York Times from yesterday. So a lot of the language is advanced, but I'm going to help you with the difficult words. I've taken out difficult words and given you synonyms for them, and there's other activities we'll do. In the first part of the class, we're going to focus a lot more on listening and vocabulary. And then in the second part, we'll be doing some debates. But this is taken directly from the New York Times. For the last half decade, three-dimensional printing has been billed as the next revolution in manufacturing. Billed is like promoted, because if you put a bill on the wall, like it's basically like saying a public bill, a poster. A billboard is where you put public notices. It has been billed as the next revolution in manufacturing. The Economist and Wired, these are magazines, have declared it world-changing technology. Last year, retailers including Staples and Amazon began to sell their own 3D printers. And this year, Amazon has introduced a marketplace for 3D printed objects. Wow, I didn't know that actually. But for all the hype, it is still unclear exactly how and when 3D printing will have an impact on our daily lives. Will 3D printing really change the world, and if so, how? First of all, before we talk about the different kinds of manufacturing, do you all know what I mean by 3D printing? Are you all familiar with it? Is anyone not familiar?
Yes,
More
3D
or
dimension
less.
3D dimension printer is very just a hot topic, so I know it very much.
So let's put it this way, Araceli, what do you know about it? You tell us what you know or what you're not sure about, and let's see if as a class we can fill in the details. So what comes to mind when you hear 3D printing, Araceli?
Yes, I have heard about this lately, but I haven't seen a 3D printer myself. I think it's like a kind of you have like a pattern or a scheme, and you give the machine this, and it can make out figures in three-dimensional figures, like plastic things or something. I'm not very sure. That's what I heard. But I'm not familiar with the technology because I've never seen one or know many details about that.
I've never seen one either. I've seen YouTube videos, but that sounds about right. You've got a plan which can be loaded like any software, and instead of printing two-dimensional characters like you would in a printer, normal household printer, right? It can print in 3 dimensions in different ways. Well, we're going to read more about the process in just a minute. Just wanted to make sure everyone's more or less familiar. And Alvaro, I used the word hype a lot in this little introduction. What does hype mean to you? Do you know what that means?
I'm not sure. I was just going to ask you.
If I say there's a lot of hype about the new movie,
I guess it's focus.
Yeah, a lot of focus, but more than focus. More than focus. If I say, where are you? You're in Spain somewhere, aren't you?
Currently I'm in London.
Oh, you're in London. Okay.
Come from Spain.
What movie is in the theaters right now? What's playing in the theaters?
In the theaters or in the cinemas?
Well, we say theater to mean cinema, but yeah.
So inter between us or something like that. It's kind of a group of English boys who are like 15 and they go to Australia to do crazy things.
Hold on 1 second. I'm having a sound problem. 1 moment. Oh, sorry about that. I had a little microphone issue.
Okay.
Have you seen the advertisements for Guardians of the Galaxy?
No, really.
No?
No, what's the Galaxy?
Okay. It's a movie that's being hyped. That's why I mention it.
Okay, no, I haven't.
You can't leave the house without seeing posters, commercials, you name it, because that's like the big Hollywood film being promoted right now. So hyped is the same as promoted. If there's a lot of hype, it means there's a lot of talk, a lot of exaggerated superlative talk. The greatest, the best, the biggest, it's hyped, promoted, hyped. Clear, more or less?
Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
All right. So I have a question there. Before we talk about printing, let's talk about manufacturing. How have everyday tasks improved or worsened since the Industrial Revolution? And I gave you some ideas to think about. It says, complete this table with your partners, share what you wrote, and discuss the similarities. So I've got some things that we can think about in terms of our everyday lives: the news, textiles, like our clothing, transport, surgery, food, leisure. Think about those categories and tell me if there has been a positive change, a negative change, or you think no major change.
I think it was a big change. Before the industrial revolution, we could get a limited amount of things. There is a craftsman. They could create daily goods, tools, some transport material, transport things, but it was very costly and it was expensive. But after the industrial revolution, factories could produce a large quantity of products. So now we can buy these things with low cost. So now there are a lot of things in the world we can get. But if we would like to, if we want something special, it would be very costly. So
if we have to make it by hand, in other words.
Yes, make by hand, or we have to order. We have to make a special order to special company or special people. So it would be very high cost.
So, yeah, I agree completely. Let's look at one or two of these specifically, like getting your news. Maybe there's positive and negative for all of these. How did people get the news before the Industrial Revolution? How did people get the news? Just out of curiosity, what do you think? Araceli, what would you say? How did people find out about things?
Industrial Revolution.
Before.
People wouldn't Yeah, they wouldn't get news at all, just from their neighbors, maybe, or for example, there were no new papers or newspapers, or maybe after the printing was invented, some people will have access to, but not too many people, to books or newspapers, everything. And now we are in the opposite side, because of the technology. We don't depend on mass media to get news. You can get a lot of information or opinions from blogs everywhere, from all kind of social sites. So it's like, yes, it's gossip again. I think there was a period when, for example, TV news were monopolizing almost information or newspapers. So if you were listening to some TV channels,
Right.
maybe they can change your view of the world. But nowadays, you have access with the internet to any kind of different opinions. So we are freed, I think, of that.
And so one of the positives is that there's just more information. I mean, in other words, the old days seems like gossip was the way to disseminate information. Talking to your neighbors, you had limited access to information. There was a town, I don't know if you saw this, like if you see reenactments like in, sort of theme parks or things like that, special events, you had a town crier. Oops, it's not letting me write here. Not letting me write. You know what a town crier is?
No.
Town crier is someone who reads public notices in the town square. So actually standing in the middle, why can I not write? Somehow it's not letting me comment now. Anyway, oops, I can't write for some reason. Town, there we go. Town crier. So you'd have someone actually saying, there was a thing on the news not too long ago about someone who was just doing it for, what was it? I can't even remember now. Anyway, they'd stand there reading what the official court wanted the people to know, and stand in the middle of the public square and scream, "Hear ye, hear ye." In Old English, ye means you all. Hear ye, right? So if you weren't in the town square, you were not privileged to the information. What if it was important? I've got one more here. We can talk about any of these if you like, but I'm going to pick one more. Surgery. I'm just curious, what do you think was it? We can talk about medicine in general, but surgery specifically, because I have a case that I want to bring up later. So what do you think surgery was like, medicine was like, before Industrial Revolution, before mass production of tools? Just out of curiosity. Any positives or negatives? Maybe there was a positive. I don't know.
I think before surgery, doing a surgery is very dangerous. So people relied on the medicine. I think mainly from natural materials, from maybe from how to say plants.
Right.
Mushrooms. I don't know. Fungus.
Leeches.
Yes.
You know that when the old days, hundreds of years ago, if you were sick, they gave you a leech and let it suck on your blood. Leeches like you find in rivers.
Yes, leeches. People, yes, doctors let leeches. Put the leeches into the body of patients and let the leeches get into the body and
that was it.
bite the body and pull out blood from body, bad blood, maybe.
Draw blood, we say.
Draw blood.
Right. And that was supposed to cure pretty much everything. That and purifying the air, lighting fires.
I have watched a documentary film on BBC, which reported which reported that medical medical care had been in the medieval. Yes, they mainly used the leeches to cure the patient.
That and also, you know, they didn't have precision instruments, right?
Yeah.
I mean, operating rooms, good light. I mean, all the things that if you think about everything in a hospital is mass produced. I mean, okay, there are things that are produced by order, but even those things that are produced by order come from machines that are mass produced. I'm saying you can't avoid it. I don't know if there was anything positive back then, but so it's dangerous. I mean, there's no, basically, you don't really want handmade equipment when you're dealing with surgery, right? No mass produced, I'll say, tech, things that you would want. I don't know if there was anything positive. I'm not really sure. Okay, then of course there was the issue of people didn't really understand anatomy, right? So they didn't really know what they were doing either. I mention this because I have an interesting little case study to bring up about surgery in particular. All right.
I think.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I think with surgery in the last years, there has been a lot of improvement with computer assistant surgery.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
and I think this kind of thing has changed a lot. 10 years ago, for many kind of surgeries, the doctors needed to open your body, and that was very dangerous. But just now they introduced these tiny cameras inside you and control everything with computers, and this has improved a lot the quality of the surgery for patients. You don't have to stay that longer at hospital, and it's much better for you.
Right, we call that non-invasive surgery. Non-invasive.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true.
Yes.
So
yes, in near future, nanotechnology maybe there would be no need to doing surgery by the means of nanotechnology. Maybe
you swallow a pill and then little robots will come and fix everything. There's another.
Even there is no need to use a robot, nanotechnology, just to.
No, but the little nanobots, right? The little engineered. They're in a capsule. You swallow the capsule, and they swim to the right place, fix it, and then self-destruct.
Wow, that's creepy.
It's real, yes. Just injecting the very tiny size of nanorobot into the body. That's all. They can cure. They can reach to the point. But tumor in the body, and they can cure the body. So
yeah, or like instead of having to get heart surgery or something really dangerous, bypass surgery.
Yes.
All it is a blockage in the vessel, or imagine an aneurysm or something like that, where I mean, there's no way you can get to an aneurysm. It's very difficult.
Yes, it's difficult. But in the future, doctor even doesn't need to use scalpel to do a surgery.
Well,
just injecting a nanorobot into the body.
I'm not holding my breath for that. I know that there's a lot of talk, but let's see if it happens quickly. You never know. Here's what I'm going to do. Let me just minimize my little. There we go. Okay, here's what I want to do. I want to give you a little background. First of all, take a look at these words. These are words which you're going to encounter in about 2 minutes in the article. So I've given you the article words on the left, simpler synonyms on the right. What I'd like you to do to help you understand some of the ideas that are going to come up, let's see if we can quickly match these together. So we got conventional, prototyping, injection molding, matures. So think about the part of speech there. Matures has an S, so it's got to most likely be a verb. Spectacles, that's got an S. It's probably not a verb because we don't have a verb to spectacle. So that's probably a noun. Dozen, boon, decentralize, undermine, implications. So pay attention to the part of speech when you're looking for a synonym. Let's start with conventional. Which of the words in 1 to 10 do you think is the best match for conventional?
Old-fashioned.
Old-fashioned. So we're going to put number 4 here. I agree. Conventional and old-fashioned. It's not the best synonym, but it is the best match here. I agree with you. Prototyping. If you're not sure of the meaning, just make an educated guess. Prototyping.
First attempt.
First attempt.
First attempt. Okay? So far, so good. I agree. Prototyping is number 2, matches with 3. First attempt. Okay, here's a difficult one. Injection molding.
Producing.
Producing. I wonder if that was my answer. I can't even remember. What was my answer for this one? Yeah, that was the answer. Very good. Even I forgot.
Sorry, John. What means molding?
Exactly. Well, Araceli got it right. So Araceli, what is a mold? What's molding? It's spelled like this, M-O-U-L-D. What's mold?
I think it's like something that gives you a fashion, a shape. It's like you put something liquid into the mold, and when it cools, it gets into the shape you want.
When it gets cold.
It's a kind of a container that you pour the liquid to create something after that.
Yeah, like maybe plastic.
When it becomes solid, it make a shape, and it would be a product.
That's right. So plastic, for example, mostly we think about it with plastic because you can change the shape easily. So does that make sense, Alvaro? Is that clear?
Yes, thanks. Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Look at number 4. Matures. Matures.
Develops.
Develops, which is number 5. Okay. Spectacles.
Glasses.
Glasses. I was trying to trick you. Not spectacle like show, but the British word for glasses is spectacles. Number 6 is dozen. Dozen.
A bunch.
A bunch.
A bunch. Very good. Very good. Dozen. In fact, 12 to be specific is a dozen. Boon. Number 7. Boon.
Benefit. Benefit, no? No.
Yuki says benefit.
No, there is no.
There's no benefit, but is there a synonym to benefit there?
Boost.
A boost. Number 9. Number 9. Boost. So a boost is like a sudden increase. Usually we say the economy has been boosted by intervention, whatever, injecting, what's the word, bailout money or something, boosting. So a boon is like a positive boost. Decentralize, that's easy.
Localize.
Localize, right. So decentralize, localize. Undermined. Undermined. Number 9.
Work against.
To work against. Wow, maybe this is easier than I thought. Implications. Last one, implications. There's only one left. Which one haven't we used?
Predictions would be?
Yeah, it's the only one left, is predictions. It's got to be predictions, right? So in the context that you see these words, implication will mean prediction of some kind. All right, very good, very good. Let's keep these synonyms in mind as we listen to the text. In the first, this is a very short text. We can read it in about 5 minutes. In the first 2 minutes or so, I want you to listen to the whole text, but I want you to try to fill in the missing words. In each blank, there is more than one word. Okay, so it would be great if you could take some notes as we go along. Write on a piece of paper or in the chat window, I guess, if you want. Maybe it's better to write on a paper and see if you can catch some of the words. Let me just see if I can say anything to you about this before we move on. In almost, let me see. In every case, there is more than one word in the blank. So it's usually like a phrasal verb. Well, there's no phrasals. What is it? Yeah. It can be a prepositional phrase like to the movies or at 6 o'clock. You know, a phrase that begins with a preposition, prepositional phrase. Or it could be, let me just see. I've got a few that are just the objects of the sentence. So several words that act like a noun. I've got a few that deal with comparisons. Okay, so you've got to try to look for the whole expression if you can. All right, so let's listen once. You take your notes, and then we'll compare answers at the end. Everyone ready? Ready?
Yep.
Here we go. The Industrial Revolution of the late 18th century made possible the mass production of goods, thereby creating economies of scale which changed the economy and society in ways that nobody could have imagined at the time. Now, a new manufacturing technology has emerged which does the opposite. Three-dimensional printing makes it as cheap to create single items as it is to produce thousands, and thus undermines the economy of scale. It may have as profound an impact on the world as the coming of the factory did. It works like this. First, you call up a blueprint on your computer screen and tinker with its shape and color where necessary. Then you print. A machine nearby whirls into life and builds up the object gradually, either by depositing material from a nozzle or by selectively solidifying a thin layer of plastic or metal dust using tiny drops of glue or a tightly focused beam. Products are thus built up by progressively adding material, one layer at a time. Hence the technology's other name, additive manufacturing. Eventually the object in question, a spare part for your car, a lampshade, a violin, pops out. The beauty of technology is that it does not need to happen in a factory. The beauty of the technology is that it does not need to happen in a factory. Small items can be made by a machine like a desktop printer in the corner of an office, a shop, or even a house. Big items, bicycle frames, panels for cars, aircraft parts, need a larger machine and a bit more space. At the moment, the process is possible only with certain materials, plastics, resins, and metals, and with a precision of around a tenth of a millimeter. As with computing in the late 1970s, it is currently the preserve of hobbyists and workers in a few academic and industrial niches. But, like computing before it, 3D printing is spread fast as the technology improves, is spreading fast as the technology improves, and costs fall. A basic 3D printer, also known as a fabricator or fabber, now costs less than a printer did in 1985. What do you think? Do you think you got them all?
Yes, I think almost I understand.
Okay, why don't you read it back to me, and then we'll continue reading the other two paragraphs as well, and I'll correct you as we go along. I'll put the right answer there on screen. All right? So Yuki, why don't you get us started? The first sentence.
The industrial revolution of the late 18th century made possible the mass production of goods.
Good, good.
Thereby creating economics of scale which changed the economy and the society in ways that nobody could have imagined at the time.
Okay, keep going. Next sentence, Yuki.
Now manufacturing technology has emerged which does the opposite. Three-dimensional. Three-dimensional. Okay.
Sorry. Araceli, continue. Three-dimensional.
Yes. Three-dimensional printing makes it as cheap to create single item as it is to produce thousands, and I don't know, I didn't get that part.
What would you put in? What's your answer? Make a guess.
I don't know. Printer.
And blank economies of scale. Scale means whether something is big or small.
Yeah, I don't know what. Maybe there's a verb missing there. I don't know.
Okay, anyone want to guess for number two?
That produces economies of scale?
Not produces.
Sorry. Undermines.
Yuki says thus undermines. Does that make sense, Araceli? Undermines. Like this.
Yeah.
See the answer? Remember the synonym we said for undermine. Undermine is work against.
Destroy.
Destroy, yeah. Work against. Go hinder, create obstacles. Make sense, Araceli? So it can't be produced because the idea is that there's an obstacle. There's some obstacle or hindrance against this old system, economies of scale, whatever that means. It's not really that clear, to be honest, what economies of scale actually means. All right, Alvaro, let's take number 3.
Sorry. It may have as profound an impact on the world. Technology.
It's not just one word though. It's a whole bunch of words. Look, notice how it says it may have as profound an impact. That shows you it's going to be a comparison because you see as. So there has, yeah.
It may have as profound an impact on the world as the Industrial Revolution.
As the Industrial Revolution. That is the idea. That's the right idea.
Okay.
Did anyone get a different answer? Because it's not the right words, but it's the right idea.
I could hear that as coming of the factory did.
Yeah, that's it. As the coming of the factory did. So that did at the end is because this is a comparison. And so that when you're saying as blank as, the did refers to what happened before. This is a set expression. As much as he did. It's a little bit weird, but it's one of the comparison forms. So as and as shows that it's equal. In this case, what's equal? Alvaro, what's equal here?
I think that the change impact
is equal to what?
I mean the 3D printing impact is almost equal to the arriving of big factories.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's the idea.
Okay.
So instead of saying it's equal to the arrival of the factories, we could say it's as, what was the word here? It's as profound, deep as the factories
Disrupting?
As the factories were. So different ways to say it. In this case, we said have, so we got to say did. If we said it was, we'd have to say were, right?
Sorry,
it was as deep as they were. What?
Can you use the word disruptive?
Yeah, but they're not trying to say it was destructive per se. They're not trying to say it was all bad. They're just trying to say it was a big change.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean bad. I think that is a word for when you change your business model, so you are going to change the way something is working, like for example,
disruptive. Yeah, disruptive.
Yeah, I tried to say that.
yeah, that's it, right? There's a big movement for the last 2 or 3 years called disrupt education. Everyone's trying to get rid of schools in America and replace it with technology. They call it disrupt. So it's a kind of a movement to bring technology into schools and things like that, which Verbling is a part of. I think we're back to Yuki for number 4.
Number 4. Where? It works like this. First, you call up blueprint.
Good. Blueprint.
First, you call up a blueprint on your computer screen and tinker with its shape and color where necessary.
Yeah, remember tinker, tailor, soldier, spy. What's a tinker? What's a tinker? Do you know what a tinker is?
Tinker is change something. Make small changes. Yes.
That's right. Because the word tinker comes from a person who works with metal, and you have to bang the metal, hammer the metal and make little changes in the shape of the metal. So to tinker is making little changes, like you said.
But I think but in very odd way.
Yeah, like a blacksmith would have to hammer metal on a big anvil, on a big iron. Yeah, that's it. Okay, and Araceli, what about number 5?
I don't know. For that part, I wasn't listening. A machine nearby, then you press print. A machine nearby, blank, and builds up the object gradually deposit the material or by selectively solidifying a thin layer of plastic or metal dust using tiny drops of glue or a tightly focused beam.
Yeah. So try 5 or 6 or both.
I don't know that part. I wasn't listening.
Uh-oh. So did anyone get 5 or 6?
I don't.
Any ideas, class, for 5 or 6?
5 machine nearby. I think you said were.
Can you spell that for me?
WHIRR maybe. WHIR.
Right. WHIRR. Whirls into what? Whirls into. We're missing a word there. In other words, whir is to move fast. What's moving fast here? This is an expression. We say, where is it? A machine nearby, which was asleep, suddenly wakes up.
Wakes into life.
Yeah, that's it. Whirs into life.
That's a sound, yes.
That's it. Whirs into life, so wakes up. And what about number 6? It builds up the object gradually, either by depositing material from a from a what? No one?
From a nozzle, yeah.
Yeah, from a nozzle. Good. A nozzle is like a little tube with an opening at the end, so you can give a precise measurement of something. Like if you're putting icing on a cake and you want to write someone's name, happy birthday, whatever, you have that tube with a little nozzle at the end, so you can write the words in the cream. So a nozzle is like a tube with a little opening at the end. All right, there we go. And Alvaro, we're on to 7.
Okay.
Products are?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah. Products are thus?
Or by selectively solidifying a thin layer of plastic or metal dust using tiny drops of glue or a tightly focused beam. Sorry if I started too soon. Products are thus built up by progressively adding material, one layer at a time, hence the technology's other name. No, I don't know.
Well, the key is it's adding material. That's the key. So you have to change the form of adding, and then you'll probably get it.
I had manufacturing something, and the other word I didn't get.
I think additive manufacturing.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Additive.
Add.
It's not letting me write on the screen for some reason, but that's it. Hold on.
Additive.
Manufacturing. It's not letting me write the word additive for some reason. Yeah, that's it.
Right.
Additive manufacturing. There we go. Okay, you can see it there, number 7. So the process is called additive manufacturing or 3D printing. It says these are synonyms. Okay, and we're back to Yuki for number 8, eventually.
Number 8. Eventually, the object.
Yeah.
The object in question. No?
Good. Yes, that's it. The object in question. Good.
What does it mean? Object in question.
The object under consideration. The object that is the subject of our discussion.
This object, we mean now.
This object.
Okay. Eventually, the object in question, a spare part of your car, a spare part for your car, and lampshade and violin pops out.
Very good. That's it. That's a difficult one. And Araceli, the blank, number 9,
The beauty of the technology is that it does not need to happen in a factory.
The beauty of the technology. Very good. That's it. Say this for me, Araceli. Technology with a kappa.
Technology.
There you go. That's it. So the beauty of the technology is that it does not need to happen in a factory. Small items may be made by machine, blah, 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 blah. You can do it in your house. That's what they're trying to say. Unless you're doing airport parts, you can do it in your house. Okay, so we're down to 10 on the next paragraph, Alvaro. At the moment,
the process is possible only with certain materials, plastics, resins.
Resins, with a Z like zebra. Resins.
Okay, I'm going to try because that sound is hard for me. Resins.
Good.
And metals with a precision of around 10 millimeters. I think you said 1/10. No?
A tenth.
A tenth. Yeah, good. A
tenth of a millimeter.
But since you have first the figures, no, because you have like 10.
No. Give me just a second, I'll write this for you. Wait. A tenth of a millimeter. Like this. A tenth of a millimeter. A tenth, that's pretty small. A tenth of the millimeter is about as small as you can get. Very good, very good.
They use macro, no? Like nano, like the.
Could be. I don't know when the nanoscale starts, but yeah, it's not really nano, I don't think, but it's really small.
Yeah.
It's quite small. Okay, and I think we're back to Yuki for 11.
11. Industrial, correct?
11? As with?
As with computing in the late 1970s, it is currently the preserve of hobbyists and workers in a few academic and industrial niches.
Very good. Industrial niches. Say niche or niche? I say niche.
Niche. Niche is correct. Niche.
Yeah,
I think niche is also okay.
Yeah, you can say either. Okay, and Araceli, our last sentence. A basic? Oh, sorry.
Basic. Yeah.
But like computer before it. Sorry, we're there. But like
computing before it, 3D printing is spreading fast as the technology improves and costs fall. A basic 3D printer, also known as a fabricator or fabber, now costs less than a laser printer that did in 1955. I don't know the word, known as a fabricator or something?
Yes, that's right. That's right. Fabricator. Oh, yeah, I forgot to put the known as. You're right. Right. Known as a fabricator. Okay, so you can see the answers there on your screen. Known as a fabricator. Keep reading, Araceli. I don't know if we're going to be able to do the whole article, but it's short, but let's see. Where it says just press prints. Keep reading, Araceli.
From where?
Where it says just print. Go down. Go down underneath those boxes. Just press print. Page 8. See it? Down. Go down.
Okay. Just press print. The additive approach to manufacturing has several big advantages over the conventional one. It cuts costs by getting rid of production lines.
Production
lines.
Good.
It reduces waste enormously, requiring as little as 1/10 of the amount of material. It allows the creation of parts in shapes that conventional techniques cannot achieve, resulting in new, much more efficient designs in aircraft wings or heat exchangers, for example. It enables the production of a single item quickly and cheaply. One after the design.
Oops. What happened, Araceli? Are you there?
Yes, I
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I go on reading?
Your microphone cut out, I think, but I can hear you now. It's okay.
Your voice is sometimes cutting out.
Yeah, it's a little bit funny. Let's, Alvaro, why don't you continue? We'll all take a paragraph here. Alvaro, for many years?
Yeah. For many years, 3D printers were used in this way for prototyping, mainly in the aerospace, medical, and automotive industries. Once a design was finalized, a production line would be set up and parts would be manufactured and assembled using conventional methods. But 3D printing has now improved to the point that it is starting to be used to produce the finished item themselves.
Used to produce the finished items themselves.
To produce the finished items themselves.
Not finished, but finished items. Items.
To produce the finished items themselves. It's already competitive with plastic injection molding for runs of around 1,000 items, and this figure will rise as the technology matures. And because each item is created individually rather than from a single mold.
mold.
From a single mold, each can be made slightly differently at almost no extra cost. Mass production could, in short, give way to mass customization for all
Right.
kinds of products, from shoes to spectacles and
Spectacle.
spectacles to kitchenware.
Mm-hmm. Keep going. Well, last little part there, Alvaro. Short. By reducing?
By reducing the barriers to entry for manufacturing, 3D printing should also promote innovation. If you can design a shape on a computer, you can turn it into an object. You can print a dozen, see if there is a market for them, and print 50 more if there is. Modifying the design using feedback from early users, this will be a boom to inventors and startups, because trying out new products will become less risky and expensive. And just as open source programmers collaborate by sharing software code, engineers are already starting to collaborate on open source designs of, for objects and hardware.
All right, very good. Well, listen, let's continue this in the next hour. This article is really, really short. It's just basically a little bit, the rest of the page and a bit more on the next page. It's really short. So let's continue reading. In the next hour, I'm going to start the next class. And we're basically going to be discussing this, and I've got a few interesting case studies to share with you. I've got one about surgery, which you probably wouldn't expect, actually. And so Yuki, we'll pick up with you in the beginning of the next hour in just a minute, okay? I have to really stop and start the next class on time, so I hate to cut you off right now, but anyway, I'll be back in 30 seconds, so stick around for the next hour. We'll discuss this, and we'll look at some very interesting applications of the technology. Okay? Be back in just a minute, evereveryone. Bye for now.
Okay,
Bye for
see
now.
you.
Bye for now.